G'day, John here, and welcome to my shop. This week we got a bowl that's been airbrushed. It's my practice bowl, we call it, and I've called it the over-the-top bowl because it's got a whole lot of airbrushing and different paint designs. So I really wrestled with, should I do airbrushing? Should I not? Leave the grain as it is. Wood turners like to see the grain, bring out the natural essence of the wood. But I've been watching Martin Sabian-smith has been one of the YouTubers on using airbrushing. Stewart Ferini is another one, both UK guys, and they do some great work. So I thought I'd try it. So I'm using a bowl blank here, poplar, and for those who don't know, that poplars are a very common wood here in the east coast of the US, and it's very much like pine. The grain is it can be pretty tear outish when you're turning it. So the grain doesn't matter on this one. I'm going to cover it up with some paint. So as you see here in the video so far, I've put the bowl blank on the lathe, and I'm going to turn it to a vase type shape so I can have a surface on the outside to be painted, and hollow out the bowl and have a go at the airbrushing. You'll see the bowl when it's finished. It's quite pleased with it actually. So I'm not going to be talking too much. You can see the video exactly what's going on in terms of the tools I use. Mainly the bowl gouge, a half-inch bowl gouge, and the outside of the bowl's been turned first. You see that the foot's been placed on the bottom, and just getting the shape of the bowl down pat. So sit back and watch as the bowl takes shape, and I'll come back in and talk to you about the painting side of things as we go. You see here in a moment, the bowl started to get some checks and cracks. So the CA glue seemed to fix that up pretty fast. But I have to say, when the bowl was finished, some checks started to appear through the whole entire workpiece. You just can't stop it at some point. This wood is kind of half dry, and I'm impatient in getting some of these jobs done. So it was kind of a test, and it's more to see how the paints and airbrushing should go. Important to know here that I take the sanding up to 240. You've got to really not go much past that on the sanding side of things, because the gloss paint as the underbase for the colour won't stick too well if it hasn't got something to adhere to. So 240 max. Resist the temptation to go through 400s, etc. I find that the paint can lift at some point. If you go too smooth, it just doesn't adhere properly. I'm using the black lacquer gloss, covering the lathe up with some cardboard there in the actual chuck. You've got to protect some of the equipment here. And I've got the vacuum system operating, so most of the airborne contents of the can will go into the vacuum, and there's a filter on that to ensure it doesn't just blow out the back of the vacuum and back into the air again. So I do wear a mask when I remember to, and I've got probably about 5 coats of the black lacquer on here. You've got to make sure the wood is kind of the paint finish is slippery, shiny, so that when you apply the paints, airbrushing or otherwise, it really stands out. So here we have the Jo Sonja iridescent paints. This is what I'm using. I've got 4 different colours there. I think green, violet, blue and gold. Now I put the tubes next to the little containers so I can see what paints what in, as these particular paints, they come out of the tubes all the same colour, and they don't form their colours until it actually dries. So having the tubes alongside them and don't get mixed up is good. I use 40% of flow medium. It's water-based paint, but the flow medium is the stuff you need to mix with it to make it thinner, especially if you're spray painting this. I'm not actually using the Jo Sonja for the spray painting. I'm using this for the design on the outside of the bowl. Here I'm putting just common knitting wool inside the paint, soaking out the paint onto the wool, and you'll see I'll be applying that to the outside of the bowl. I think they call this string draw painting. You'll see the technique in a moment as we get closer to where it's being applied to the bowl. So here's the black lacquer outside of the bowl dry, and you just simply pull the wool out and just let it rest on the lacquer. Just make it overlap each other. You'll see the design of what's going on there. And the idea is that you draw the string, the paint soaked string, in this case down the edge of the bowl. And it forms kind of a flower shape design. And you can see already in the thin applications of the paint on the outside of the bowl, the green colours poking through. So the string is then pulling through, and you get that nice design on the outside of the bowl, or almost like a Japanese bowl type effect. Probably speed this up in a little bit to show you all the other different designs on the outside of the bowl. So just sit back and watch, and I'll come up at the end. Okay, this is the finished effect. Paint's dried on the outside, so we've got like flower designs on the outside of the bowl. Now, all of a sudden, you get to see the top surface, and the footage I took actually doing that got lost, but it was very simple using the gold Jo Sonja paint, dabbing it on the surface with just a workshop towel, paper towel, and it dries just simply like that design. The paper towel is curled up on an edge, and dip it in the paint and just dab it. So now the bowl's been hollowed out in the centre, making for a surface of the spray paint. Unfortunately, the actual spray painting footage didn't come through too good, so I did include in the video here. But again, you're just seeing the after effect here now as I pull the centre of the bowl out. It does flip straight to where the finish is done. I form a circular pad at the bottom of the bowl, and I've used a Dremel to texture the surface. The Dremel bit I use is one of those very small 1/8 Dremel bits. Any Dremel bit will do. You can see the texture there. It's just kind of spinning the bowl and grinding away at the texture at the bottom. I painted that black and embellished it with some gold embellishment. Came out pretty well. So you'll see now, getting towards the end of this video, the footage, unfortunately, of the spray paint was lost, but it was my first attempt. It came out looking pretty good. Alright, thanks for watching the video. There's another one coming up next week. Not sure what that's going to be, but it's going to be probably some more spray painting because it's quite enjoyable. So enjoy it, and you'll see the still shots at the end here. Thanks everyone for watching, and see you next week. Cheers.